like to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should.
All right, this is the Big Kid Show. I am Mark, and thanks for kicking it with us, even if it's just for a little bit. With me, I have two of the Big Kid elite, Big Nick and Mr. B. We welcome and appreciate your applause. So kind of you. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, subscribe, give us a rating, drop us a review, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're dropping episodes every single Sunday, so come back for more whenever you're ready. As always, we appreciate you all and all of your support very sincerely. Today, we will be playing one of our favorite formats, and that is Top 3.
Yeah.
Ooh. And with that said, our category, gentlemen, we're getting into the holiday season. It's holiday time. And I think it's only right for us to talk about our top 3 Thanksgiving activities.
Yes.
That's right. Thanksgiving
Turkey
is
time.
right around the corner. And here at the Big Kid Show, we are here to help you out to put up with your in-laws this holiday season. We are going to walk you through our favorite things to do with our families on this wonderful holiday here in America. So polish off that plate of all the turkey and gravy and get ready to ramp up the fun this Thanksgiving. Big Nick, you look hungry and it looks like you just finished your plate. So we're going to let you go first today, sir. You're going to kick us off with your number 3 Thanksgiving activity that you like to do.
You turkey son of a bitch.
This was very difficult for me here, boys, because I got like upwards of 20 favorite Thanksgiving activities.
Ooh.
I've said it loud, I've said it proud, and I've said it many times on this show, and whoever's willing to listen has heard me say, I love this is what I live for here, boys. This is what I live for.
This is the Big Nick holiday.
To me, Thanksgiving is not a single day. It cannot be restricted to a 24-hour time period. No, that is denying Big Nick what he loves. You can't deny the Big Nick what he needs and what he loves. And so for me, Thanksgiving, baby, starts the minute that my ass is out the door at work on Wednesday. And it does not end until that ass makes its way back in the door to work on Monday morning. So Thanksgiving.
Oh, buddy, we're talking about 5 days.
That's right.
Big Nick.
Turkey time.
It is a festival for days here. And look, the reason why
Festivus for the rest of us.
The reason why it's got to be multiple days is because the leftovers is certainly a part of Thanksgiving, right? And all the football that now comes along with Thanksgiving. The parade, the getting together with friends and family. I just love it. So I'm going to reference 3 things today. My picks will be both old and new from the Big Nick world. My number 3 will be what I call video game weekend. Okay, so this is something that I did
saucy
primarily in my late 20s to my mid 30s ish. So at my old work for many years, about 11 years, the busiest time of the year for my work was from the Monday after Thanksgiving up until Christmas. And my wife used to jokingly, but on some weird serious level, say, yeah, once that Monday hits, I don't see this guy until like Christmas Eve. Like I would be gone and at work by 5:30 in the morning, and I would come home very late at night, 5-6 days a week. And bringing work home on Sundays. So I would go through this gauntlet of just crazy work hours for about 4 weeks. So what I would do to help myself prepare for that mentally, emotionally, physically, I would do what I called video game weekend. I'm not a big gamer, but I own a video game console. And back then it was the Wii. And what I would do is I would get home and I would play video games on Wednesday evening, celebrate Thanksgiving Turkey Day on Thursday, Friday, Black Friday, I ain't going out shopping. That shit is for the birds, man.
Nah.
That is for the
I'm
birds.
back at home on the couch playing video games. And then I would spend that weekend either watching football or playing video games. And most years during that period of my life and that career and that job that I had, that for the most part would be the only 3 days out of the entire year that I would play video games. But I would play them from damn near open to close, sunrise to sunset, my friends. We got fireworks off of that.
Marathon.
Whoa, that was incredible.
It's a
Sorry,
marathon.
you
You're
can't
welcome.
see that, but that's what the YouTube is for. But no, I'll call it video game weekend, and I would usually go back and revisit some of my old favorite games because it was a Wii. You could get the old games. And I would play like Final Fantasy II, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Super Mario World, Paper Mario, Mario Kart, F-Zero. So yeah, I would. Oh, the listeners have no clue what we're doing here, but there's fireworks here at the Big Kid Studio. But yeah, video game weekend, my number 3 choice. I guess you kind of have to be there to know it and love it and experience it, but. That's one thing I did for years.
Big Nick. So with the Wii, did you have a game of choice or was it multiple games?
So I just rattled off a bunch of games, but the reason why I loved the Wii console was because they were pumping out new games, but you could get the old Nintendo classics, the Super Nintendo games, the Nintendo 64 games. You could download. You didn't even have to have the cartridge or the disc. You could download the old games. And so I would play a lot of this. I grew up loving the Super Mario games. I'd play a lot of those, maybe a little Zelda, a little Final Fantasy II, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, F-Zero, RC Pro-Am. I mean, just a lot of it was really
RC
just
Pro-Am.
a dude sitting on the couch in a sweatsuit, drinking cold beer and playing video games. Like I wouldn't get hardcore serious about any of them, but it'd be like, you know what? I'll play this one for an hour or two, crack another beer, and flip to a different game. Like it was just,
Hey,
Yeah.
sounds like you're having fun. That's what's important, buddy. Good for you.
you know, the
I
Superman
love it.
Fortress of Solitude. Like that's what it felt like for a couple of, it felt like several hours a day during that long weekend of the Big Nick Fortress of Solitude, where it was just a solitary man entertaining himself with some old childish video games.
Good for
Very
you,
nice.
buddy.
Very
I love
nice.
it.
I love it. All right, Mr. B, let's kick it your way. Number 3, what do you got for us?
So this was tough to put them in a ranking order because I feel like they're all great. But I'll start off. My number 3 was just my favorite thing on Thanksgiving Day is to just watch football.
Yes, sir.
And I love now that they actually have 3 games played, and so I love that. Like,
Yeah.
I love watching the NFL. We've talked about the NFL on the show. It's a great thing, but ooh, boom, 3 games. They start at 12. They go to about 9 o'clock. That's a good day of football for me,
Well, the Lions are interesting now, so
right?
That's how
Yeah, the Lions are always on there, but yeah, I love watching football, and again, it's kind of also tied with that. You know, family is around you, you're having fun. There's food, but you know, just having football on there is always a big thing for me. So,
Yeah.
that's my number 3 pick is watching NFL football.
Yeah.
that is a very quality choice.
Hey, and you
Mr.
got
B.
just so everyone knows, there's a lot of thumbs up in the studio right now. A lot of thumbs up.
We can't get enough of the thumbs up.
Thumbs up and fireworks. Oh my God, Mark's head just exploded.
It's getting crazy. You want to know
Whoa.
why it exploded?
Shout
though?
out to Steve
It's because
Jobs.
our brains were blown together because I also had football as my
Yeah.
number 3 selection.
That's my dog.
All on Thanksgiving. I don't think it gets a ton better than that. And even if you don't care about the game, there's something about just having football in the background. It just lightens the room, right? Just lightens the room up a little
Right.
bit. Makes it a
Agreed,
little
buddy.
more interesting. And plus, you get those moments where you can kind of have the suspense and kind of focus in. I don't know if either of you guys subscribe to NFL Plus.
I
but
do.
This isn't directly related to what's that, Dick?
I just signed up like 4 days ago. Like I'm into it.
So get ready to live because you're going to have Red Zone up on your phone now
Oh yeah.
for the rest of the season.
So addicting.
It's amazing. It's amazing. The Red Zone channel is crazy. Now I know
Well,
there's
hang
multiple
on.
games.
Whoa. How come Mr. B doesn't get that? I thought it was tied with the Big Kid research team. Like, you guys just get it. I don't get
I
it.
think Lenny stole your pass.
Ah, God.
He did get 3 passes, but
Lenny, you dick. All right. I digress. Move along.
I did just call him out. Sorry, Lenny.
Yeah. Lenny.
But anyway, no, football, amazing. Always a good time. And there's always some relatives you've got that maybe have a little skin in the game, or they've got some interest in the game.
Made a couple bets.
That's right. Maybe a bet or two here or there.
I got the house on the line.
I mean, if you haven't heard from Jamie Foxx and a plethora of other celebrities, you can bet right up until the last snap.
Right? MGM Studios and all these different things.
They're pushing the betting hard.
Oh, it's almost terrifyingly hard.
It is it's like a little overdone. You know, We're like, come on, guys. Like, and then they've got the little addicted to gambling at the bottom. Call 1-800. It's like, come on, guys. What are we doing here? So, all right, Big Nick, back your way. Number 2, sir. What do you got for us?
Gambling problem? It's only a problem if you lose. All right.
Loser.
Here's the thing, boys. Mind meld, as they say, because my number 2 is something that I'm calling football heaven party, baby. So football heaven party, what is it?
That's my buddy.
It's what Mr. B just described. It's what Sweetwater Mark just described. 3 beautiful National Football League games played out on Turkey Day. And guess what? For the first time ever, 2023, there will be a game on Black Friday.
That's right. They're moving a game to Friday, so we got a whole another day after.
So you get
money.
one NFL game on Black Friday. And here's the other thing, boys and girls. Now, when I was a child and even into my 20s, the Ohio State-Michigan game was always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Nowadays, they've figured out that the Big Ten season must be longer. And so they play Buckeye-Michigan at noon the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we get 3 splendid days of football that trickles into a 4th day of Sunday NFL football. So here we go, boys. Football heaven party is what I like to call those 4 days. And I want to give a shout out to my boy Sned and to his dad, because
Sned,
I had season tickets to the Ohio State Buckeyes for 11 years. So I was very lucky to have seen 6 Michigan versus Ohio State home Buckeye games, right? I've attended 6 of them. Now, since our tickets ran out, once those tickets were gone, that is right around the time that they made the shift to playing that game one weekend later in the schedule. And so nowadays, ever since then, I've gone to Sned's house for an Ohio State Michigan football party. And it's not even like there's not even any scheduling. It's understood that for as long as he's on this planet and I'm on this planet, I will be at his house watching the Ohio State Michigan game with him. So it's a tradition.
It's a Festivus.
There is way too much food. There is way too much alcohol. And if we win, we attempt to consume all of that food and alcohol. So it's just fond memories. And again, calling that football heaven party. 4 days of just pure heaven.
Beautiful. Very beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the AFC didn't get a ton of love because it's all NFC teams on the Thanksgiving slate, which is a little weird.
Yeah,
right?
you think they would kind of shuffle it up, but who knows?
I mean, they're spaced out. So you got the Packers Lions at 12:30, you got the Commanders and Cowboys at 4:30, and then the 49ers and Seahawks at 8:20. And then poor NFL. They were like, oh man, can you imagine the high-powered Miami Dolphins against the Aaron Rodgers-led New York Jets on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Sans Aaron Rodgers.
And you know what? It will affect my watching 0%, sir. I will be all in.
We're all in there.
On the couch.
Yeah, I want Miami to lose, so I'm with you.
Turkey Day leftovers, I won't even have to cook anything.
I feel like me and Mark, we're gonna show up at Sned's house. So hey, Sned,
we might have to. Sned, make plans.
If you're listening, surprise. 2 more big kids are showing up at your house. I hope you got more turkey and Jack Daniels because we're going to be there.
Sned and Papa Sned, 2 of the best at putting out the tailgate football party food. Those dudes spare no expense and no limit on the time they will spend on the grill, the smoker, in the kitchen, on the stove. Otherwise, they do it. We do it to the highest of levels.
So, Mark, we will be tailgating Nick and just following him to Sned's house because apparently it's a sneaky place you can never find.
Oh yeah, and to Jim Harbaugh and your boys who've been stealing signs, read these signs, mofos. Look at these signs I got for you, Jim Harbaugh.
Oh,
Cheating
He's
bastards.
putting up peace signs for anybody out there wondering.
That was a lot of middle fingers. That
Peace
was a lot
sign
of
is
middle fingers.
minus the.
Hope you can
the
read
index
this
finger.
sign.
All right, I think that fills in our football fix there, boys. So, Mr. B, let's get your number 2 selection. What do you got for us?
So my number 2 is we only did this a couple years, but like as we've gotten older, it's harder for all of the family to get together, right? But like you guys remember the Thanksgivings when like all the cousins were together, like when we were younger. So we would do an appetizer contest. And so
appetizer contest.
So it's like, all right, so like everyone would make an appetizer. We'd actually do a contest and vote on the appetizer.
I like it.
That's awesome.
It was an awesome thing because who doesn't love an appetizer, right?
Yep.
They're great. I mean, everyone loves turkey and all this stuff, but we'd have all these like different appetizers. And there was one year Mr. B won the appetizer contest.
Oh, please digress. What was the recipe?
I made a jalapeno popper dip.
Ah.
We're going to need that at the next Big Kid get together.
Oh, it was delish.
I like it.
But the fun part of like, all right, cool. There's like 9 appetizers here. We're going to have those. Then we're going to have turkey and mashed potatoes, all the other stuff.
Heck yeah.
That was an awesome thing that we used to do. And, you know, again, I hope we can continue the tradition, but it just gets harder and harder to get all the cousins together because we're getting older and all that stuff. So
I always like a little spice on Thanksgiving, so I like that.
right, a little kick, a little
spicy.
pow.
Getting spicy, a little wapow.
Jim Harbaugh, if you like appetizers, I'm bringing you some of Pete's sweaty balls.
Big Nick is still fired up.
Not
about it.
regular balls, sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls. Well, I'm digging it so far here, boys. We're off to a good run. All right, so in typical Sweetwater Mark fashion, I am going to stretch the rules just a little bit for
He's
my
going to
number
pick
2
5
selection.
things.
I'll allow
here.
it.
But I think you guys will approve of this because it's for a good cause. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thanksgiving. It's a good time to be charitable. It's a good time to do things for other people.
Yes, sir.
It's a good time to share some of the blessings and the wealth that we have. So one of the churches that's nearby us does a Thanksgiving in a box. And the thing I like about it is that
Sorry.
Get my thumbs up right. There we go. The thing that I like about it is you go pick up as many boxes as you want. And these are huge boxes, probably like 3 feet by 3 feet, right? Giant boxes. And you put everything into the box. They've got a checklist for the entire meal. And I'm talking like eating the most deluxe Thanksgiving you can possibly think of, including the turkey. And they bring on site these freezer trucks to put the turkeys into, but then they end up packaging these boxes up and then they give them each. So each family gets their own box.
Nice.
And I'm talking stuff for the appetizers. You got the turkey, you got the gravy, you got the cornbread, you got the vegetables, you got a pumpkin pie or an apple pie to go with all the fixings, man. It's freaking sweet. And it's one of those times. It's definitely like one of those times of the year that makes you feel good doing something for somebody else. And honestly, what's Thanksgiving about? It's about doing something for other people. So
Giving thanks.
that's right. So I stretched it a little. We don't always necessarily do the drop off on Thanksgiving, but it is absolutely Thanksgiving related. So I think it qualifies.
Thanksgiving's
Mark,
5 days
I
long.
love that.
There you
Yeah.
go. There
And
you go.
Mark, cheers to you, buddy, because
Yeah.
that's an awesome thing, and you're giving back to the people. And
Yeah.
you're right. How does it not feel good?
Absolutely, man. I
Good
feel
for
like
you, man.
you always
And-
feel
and-
better when you're doing something for somebody else.
Well, and that's
Absolutely.
something that you can teach and pass on to your kids that they're not necessarily teaching at
Mhm.
school or things like that. You know, that's a parent job. And so
Exactly.
kudos to you and the wife there for doing a fantastic job helping out others and other families. And like I said, something that I'm sure that your wonderful generation that you are raising will look forward to doing as well.
Appreciate that, boys. Yeah, I always have my young kids help pack the box, and then they're excited to go drop off, and they do a great job. They got people dressed up as turkeys and ladles and all kinds of stuff to be entertaining as you're doing the drop off. It's really well done. But for any of those big kid listeners out there, just my kind of side thing, do something nice for somebody else this Thanksgiving. Sacrifice a little of yourself for somebody else. You will not regret it. All right, gentlemen, that moves us into round one here, our final selection. We're getting into, this is the meat on the bone, so to speak. So, Big Nick, what is your number one Thanksgiving
and you
activity?
can't say eat turkey.
The number one Big Nick. We're putting up restrictions on this all of a sudden.
No, I'm just messing with you, buddy.
We're pretty deep into our delivery of the show. Now we got the restriction. So, I've been given nicknames for each one of my choices because it's kind of each one of my choices. It's kind of a bundle deal on every one of them, right? So for my final choice, the number one Big Nick pick, I'm going to call it Doc Holliday. Mr. B, you know how fond I am of my cousin. And so
cheers to Doc.
This is kind of a little old.
Good movie, too.
A little old and new. But back in the day, Thanksgiving traditionally was the holiday that we, amongst other holidays, but this holiday every year, Thanksgiving, we celebrated on my mother's side, which is my cousin, big cousin side, right? We had like 30 some cousins. And so my one cousin, Doc, he's in the same grade as me. So we had classes together. We played on the same football team. Like we go beyond tightness of cousins. Like we're best friends he's one of my best friends for my lifetime.
You guys are brothers.
Exactly. So when we were young and we would go to my mother's side, he and I would always do a how many plates can contest between just the two of us. How many plates could we consume? And the number of plates got more and more and more the older that we got. But at some point, you grow up, and as like you pointed out, B, that we start to kind of flock out a little bit, right? You got to go off into the world and make your own way and those things. So that stopped at some point. We stopped doing the big celebration on my mom's side. So how many plates he could eat or I could eat went out the door. Now I want the record to reflect the truth of the scenario. I won most years. Now,
I want to consult Doc before we make sure that's an official answer. But I digress. Move on.
What that morphed into in our older years was our college age years. He went off to college, just about an hour and a half or so away. I stayed here, went to work, but what became of that is, the college kids go home for Thanksgiving. They're staying at mom and dad's house. Maybe they don't necessarily want to be at mom and dad's house every evening. It turned into a tradition of he and I going out together on the town the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. We did it every year for years, and we always had a blast. We usually, even at the age of 20, we're closing down places.
20.
Yeah, we're closing down places. And man, you could walk up and down High Street and be drinking, eating hot dogs, bar hopping all night long if you were 19 and a half, 20 back then. And so we did that for years. And so I love that, no longer do we do that because we're too old to be out bar hopping the night before Thanksgiving anymore. But I'll call that one Doc Holliday for the plate eating contest back in the day that morphed into the bar hopping, beer drinking nights for many years on Wednesday night.
I like it.
Cheers. Love that one.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Mr. B, you got the big shoes to fill.
All right. So
Number one, what do you got?
This goes back to, again, like I said, when we were younger and all of the cousins could get together, right? All of them. Like we would all be together. Doesn't matter the temperature, the weather.
Oh, I know where
we would go out and we would play basketball.
Ooh, you went B-ball.
very
I thought you were going F-ball.
Yeah, no, usually you would think football, right? But no, we would go out and play basketball. So like we're outside in 40-degree weather. It's rainy. It's cold. Our hands are all blue. And we're all out there playing a game of 21 or something, just like messing each other up. Like my uncles were still playing because they weren't too old yet. Cheers to my Uncle Phil. but we would all be out there like playing basketball, and I loved that. That was like my most favorite thing ever. It's like we would get out there, just we were all together playing basketball, having fun, laughing, and just joking, and that was it for me, man. That was it.
That's awesome, man. That's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, there would be like at some point, I remember like there was like 15 of us playing a messy game of 21. If you guys remember playing 21, it's basically just everyone just tackling everybody and trying to score a point. But I love that memory. Like, I mean, it's just that's lodged in my brain. And one of my favorite Thanksgiving things is like we would eat turkey, and they were like, "Guess what? Let's go outside and play basketball." Boom, loved it.
That's awesome. There's nothing like a little b-ball. Was there any bets placed on those b-ball games?
No, we were too young to place bets, but
All right, yeah.
I mean, it was just like, I mean, and the age range was from like 7 to like 50.
It's only a problem if you lose.
Yeah.
Better not lose, loser.
I love that
call
one,
this
man.
number, 1-800.
So
I think my mom has pictures like we're out there, like my uncle had a sweatshirt on and like a jacket, and like I'm out there looking at a t-shirt on and shorts, and I'm like,
I was gonna say
it's like you guys realize it's like 38 degrees outside.
It's shirts versus blouses outside of the Smith household every Thanksgiving, baby.
Oh, you didn't want a piece of that basketball crew. We were hardcore.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Love it. Love it. All right. A little basketball. Very nice. Very nice. All right, boys. So we're down to our last selection here. This has been good. Maybe some of our listeners can chime in, because I'd love to hear some activities that some of our listeners out there have got. Let us know what you've got. What are some of your traditions? What are some things you would recommend for us and for other big kids to do? For mine, I grew up with grandparents that were big board game people.
Yes.
Right? So they were into the board games. And as a very young kid, they introduced me to a game that is slightly based off of the card game called Rummy.
Mm-hmm.
And this game would be called Rumicube. Rumicube.
Oh,
say that 10 times fast.
What? Rumicube.
Anybody who's not familiar, the basics of Rumicube, and you're going to go pick one up. I literally just rebought it to play with my kids, my young kids, and they freaking love it, and it warms my heart. So Rumicube is, you've got a tray. It's a bunch of little tiles. Think like dominoes.
Yep.
And you've got numbers from 1 to 13. All right. And they're all different colors. And there's multiple of the same numbers. And then there's 2 jokers. And you pick 14 tiles to start off with.
Hey, the big kid research team's letting off balloons and the
things are going crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
happy Thanksgiving.
I don't know how that happened. Lenny's coming out strong today. So basically, you have to match either 3 numbers in a row of the same color, or at least 3 of the same number with different colors. And the cool thing is with Rummy, it's very locked down, right? Because once you play your hands, you can't really do much with them. But with Rumicube, you can add on to other people's. You can take from them and make your own. You can get into like 15 move pieces, like just like crazy strategized pieces, moves that I will admit a few times as a young kid I tried to do and had to backpedal 15 different times. So, it's a wild world out there in Rumicube land. But if you've not checked it, check it out. Rumicube. You can find it on Amazon. I think it's like $15. It's not anything crazy.
Hey,
you got kids.
Mark gets 5% of all sales purchases.
That's right. Reach out to me directly. Slide in my DMs. I'll hook you up with
the
a 5%
listeners
discount.
Don't know that his full name is Marcus Rubicube. He comes from the Rubicube dynasty.
Yeah. Sergeant Rubicube. Yeah. So, Mark, I remember playing that game, actually. And the fact that you brought that up, I love it, because that is a perfect Thanksgiving Day family game.
It's super nostalgic, and
I'm going to buy one.
People of all ages can play it, but it also can get super advanced, because the basic premise is you have to keep 3 tiles together. You can never have less than 3 tiles that have been played down on, in front of you. But if you've got a 1 through 9 in front of you and somebody needs that 6, yoink, they can take that 6 right out of the middle and use it for whatever they want. And again, like the advanced strategy you can get into, it's fun, man. You will never have a boring game. I promise you that, and definitely worth the time. So, all right, boys, any honorable mentions we want to mention?
I got a couple. Big Nick, you got a couple? Go first, buddy.
I just want to remind all the good listeners out there that this Thanksgiving, celebrate with your friends and family with Sweetwater Ranch, the official ranch of
Sweetwater
Thanksgiving.
Ranch.
It's delicious. It's smooth. It's creamy. It's awesome.
You can put it on your guitar,
Yeah.
safe for the varnish.
So I'm glad that you brought up board games, because that was my close number 4. Is
Yeah.
usually, again, we get all the cousins together, all the family. We'll bust out a board game,
Cuz
or we'll bust out a little game called euchre.
Oh, I love euchre.
And that gets a little intense, because especially if we get like multiple games going, we got like 3 tables of euchre going.
okay,
That's
so
awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry, but we're ahead of schedule. The last time I played euchre with Mr. B, Mark, do you want to know what happened? His father,
I'm very
Easy,
curious.
buddy.
Mr. B's father, accused my wife of
Father.
cheating. His
That sounds about right.
His dad was not even playing the game. He was a spectator. He was watching the
Oh, I
game and
love
accused my wife
love
of
it.
cheating.
Well,
That is
was she
hilarious.
cheating?
I see you, Randy. I got my eyes on you, buddy.
Got my eye on
Hey,
you.
Pops, I'll take care
My
of Nick.
wife
Don't worry
would
about it, Pops.
never cheat on euchre. I'm going to echo everything that you guys just said. Euchre, primarily. The other game that breaks out with on my wife's side, euchre. But also we do the dominoes too, and I love playing both.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
once in a while, when you get nothing but the adults playing, sometimes we start doing a little quarter a point, nickel a point, things like that. We add a very small little friendly,
It's a little saucy.
put a little action on it.
Yeah. No, and that's my point. Is I love the games. Again, you're around family, cousins, uncles, people that you might not see, but maybe once or twice a year. So I love that.
Currently,
That's warms my heart.
Currently, my Thanksgiving day usually consists of we all get together around noon, and the party finally breaks up about 1:30 in the morning, like consistently 1:30 in the morning, where it's just eating all day long. The football's always on in the background. Euchre's always being played at the table, board games being played, dominoes. Maybe sometimes a game of darts breaks out, but yeah, it's a full night of festivities when we celebrate these days, and I love it.
I
So
love
Mark, also, it sounds like we're also going to show up at Big Nick's house for his
telling you.
Thanksgiving.
it. We're crashing Thanksgiving.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he would let us in unless he has a bouncer. I mean,
Coming 2024 Thanksgiving Crashers.
Oh, that's a
Coming
movie
to
premise.
theater
We like
near
it.
you. Yeah, the one that I've got is football, but not the American football. It'd be the worldwide football, and that would be soccer.
A little foot.
A little footy.
Ball.
A little footy. Love going out with my nieces and nephews and showing them how Uncle Mark gets it done.
Just beating
And
up
that
on
is
kids.
schooling everybody as long as I don't tear my ACL.
So if you guys can picture, like, all right, Ronaldo, right? Mark is not anything like that.
That's right. He's better.
He's Ronaldo's cousin, Gennaro. Kind of slower and not so athletic, but still pretty good. Pretty good at soccer.
They call me Shaved Beckham. So yeah, a little soccer, can't go wrong with that. So all you big kids out there, if you have not, like I said, definitely tell a friend, spread the word on Thanksgiving, tell your family, tell your cousins, tell your in-laws you may or may not want to talk to. Tell them to tune into the Big Kid Show. Check us out, helps us out, help you out. You got any ideas? Feel free to send them our way. We always appreciate it. From big kids here in the treehouse to your treehouse. We hope everybody has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. Stay safe out there, y'all. And until next time, we are the Big Kid Show.
All your cares will be forgotten. Come on, let's turkey time.